I think we can slowly get started. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining our Bits and Bolts. This is actually our 6th episode, believe it or not, how time flies. And we'd like to welcome you all, hopefully with a coffee or tea in hand, to learn about some of the newer features or additions that we've made to Sure MDM over the last couple days or weeks. I think both the topics we'll talk about today are relatively new, so should be interesting. As we get started, I think most of you will already know Stuart Clark and myself, Armand Sami. So Stuart looks after the African territories and I look after DACH and the Netherlands for 42 Gears. Stuart is based in South Africa and based in Switzerland. And yeah, some of the topics that we covered last, and just as a quick reminder for everyone, if you ever want to go back and renew or look at these different videos or share something that you've seen or we've discussed in the past, this can all be done over some other topics, but can all be done over our YouTube channel. And if you need a quick reference, you can scan this QR code and go right there and see all the past 5 episodes. This episode will also be uploaded probably maybe later this week or early next week. It just depends on when Gabby and the team has time after all the traveling and events which are taking place next handful of days. But without any further kind of distractions, today's topics are we're going to talk about global email addressing settings in Sure MDM Hub. We spent a long time trying to figure out what the name of this should be. It's kind of complicated to explain, but I think when I show it to you, it will make sense and will be quite interesting. And then Stuart later will start to talk and give some examples on how the addition of terminal within Sure MDM is quite helpful, and some use cases on how you can take full advantage of it. So with that, I'm going to jump into Sure MDM Hub. Now, for those of you which do not know what Sure MDM Hub is, this is essentially a portal where you, resellers, MSPs, not necessarily end customers, but anyone above that can have access to this portal. You can register, you can reach out to Stuart or myself, we'll help you get started. But this portal allows you to create and manage all of the different accounts that you have, all the different customers in one place. There's many benefits to this. I don't want to go too much into details here, but what is important is that here you're able to create new customers. Now, what is a new customer? A customer is a customer of yours, but a new Sure MDM account for 42 Gears. So whereas in the past, somebody would have had to go to 42gears.com, Sure MDM trial and sign up, you can now do that on the behalf of a customer or partner of yours. All you would have to do is click here, create new customer, and put in the company name, email address, passwords. So you can set a temporary password that they can change once they log in, specify the domain they would have, and once this is all done and you hit save, a new entry would be created in unverified customers. That email address would get an email sent to them, and once that email is validated, so they accept the terms of Sure MDM, that account from here would then be taken to the customer list here. And you can see when the account was created, how long the trial, if it is a trial, would last before it expires, and if that customer ever needed help or support through this user and single sign-on of Sure MDM Hub, you could click on login and log in to that account to provide any help. But a problem or a struggle that many of our customers and partners have complained about for, the years that I've been at Sure MDM at 42 Gears, has been the fact that every new Sure MDM account needs to have an individual email address associated to it. And in some cases, this is sometimes a hassle for multiple reasons. Maybe you have to make a new, or we have many partners which make a new email address internally, or make a new Teams at 42 Gears, or sometimes just use like a disposable email address to make that first. Don't recommend the last one at all, but that to make a Sure MDM account that they can then use that email address for that account. Even if it's not a real account, it's not associated to anyone, unfortunately, a security limitation has been that you can only use one password per MDM account, sorry, one username, one email address per MDM account. Until now, there is a new feature within Sure MDM Hub, and if you come here under Global Account Settings, it is the first one here, which is Global Settings and plus addressing. Now, I understand on the name alone, it makes no sense, but once this checkbox here is checked and the function is enabled, you will then either put in an email address of your own. It could actually be something as simple as info@42gears.com. In my case, now fill that in with your email address, but many customers or partners have started to use MDM at and their company. And what happens is once this is filled out and you hit save, you'll get, of course, a quick little pop-up telling you that the system has updated. But now when you come to create a new user, so here, for instance, I will do bits and bolts. I'll just leave it like that. What you'll see is I've auto-generated a few fields. The first one here is I've taken the beginning of that email address that we had in account settings, which was Chandon.K, plus bits and bolts is now the addition at 42gears.com. This will now be the official email address associated with that email on our backend and on our system. What will actually happen is once you save this email address, that contact information, or let's say the verification email, any like basic generic notifications that would have originally been sent to that email address will all now just be sent to Chandon.K at 42gears.com. So you're not losing any control or any access, notifications or whatnot. They will all be forwarded to the same email address, which means now you can have multiple accounts all under the same email, notifying the same email, but looking slightly different in the function. Now, of course, we're not making a new email address for you. You can't use it. This is only for our system and our kind of functionality here. Now, other functions we won't really talk about here, but you can see, for instance, password, domain name we've all taken. And this might be something that you use, let's say 99% of the time, but every so often you have a customer which will actually be owning and using the entire MDM themselves, and you're just providing the selling or the service. You can, of course, delete this and put in whatever email address you would like. So it's a function you can take advantage of and use, or you can ignore if it doesn't mean anything to you. However, a very good benefit of this is when you create an email address and you use an account with an email address, this account, however, licensing and access is all yours as a partner in the portal, this client here will have the ultimate super user rights to that account. So unless you've gone into kind of global settings and you've changed something, this user will have the ability to make new users, change passwords, do anything unrestricted. So this is why a good recommendation is to actually take the multiple email test here as the example and use yourself or your company as the let's say the actual owner of the account, the super user, and then create sub-users under that, which then you're able to restrict with different user policies and roles. So very interesting addition. I hope this saves, and I know this will save quite a few partners quite a lot of time, energy, and effort in creating and managing all these different email addresses that they might only use once or twice, but also that as time goes on, it will be useful in managing users and customers a little bit better and nicer. As always, if something changes, you start off using one that we've generated, one of our plus email address accounts, and you want to change that into a regular kind of end user email address, we can help you with that. Reach out to tech support at 42gears.com. But going from a dedicated email address to a plus email address is not yet feasible. So please keep that in mind if you are testing or looking into trying this. start off by using a plus email address, and then maybe, if necessary, move to a fixed or end email address versus trying to do it the other way around. But that's more or less it for the Plus Global. Sure MDM Hub, if it's new for you, we do have quite a bit of material on this. And if you're interested in testing it and playing around, reach out to us and we'll happily get you started. It's a free service. There's no cost. Even if you don't use it once or use it twice, that's okay. But yeah, with that, I don't think there are currently any questions. Hold on, there's one. Let me see. So, yeah, so not necessarily. So the question is there a requirement on the domain? So did we only do this because it's 42gears.com? No, it could be anything. So literally, I could come in here. I mean, theoretically, I could put in my personal Gmail account, and it would do the exact same thing. So if I set a different email address here and hit save, then that email address would just be what's used. The benefit here is you don't have to have multiple. If you did have, let's say, just Armon at Gmail, and then another account that's Armon GH at Gmail, these would both work. But then if you're only using these email addresses for Sure MDM accounts, it might just be easier if you just used one email address for everything and just use this as your one system or one email that got you all the information. But you can use it with any domain. It's completely possible, and any email address. You're very welcome. Great question. Good. Then with that, Stuart, I will hand off to you.
Perfect. Thank you. That was really, really good. I know a couple of partners that have tested it and used it already, so it's going to be something I'm sure that will be very helpful.
I think so too. As I mentioned, there's been some people like, Armon, why is this so complicated for years? So I was really, really happy when that finally got released.
Absolutely. Good. Well, let me enlarge this quickly. I'm going to jump. Sorry, I'm one ahead. So as Armand mentioned, from my side, I'm going to share some information about our terminal functionality within our remote support, which obviously is something that's newish. Terminal historically, as some of you may have seen, was available, and I'm going to jump between a couple of windows. But in the past, some of you may have noticed that the terminal was available within our MDM environment, or PowerShell in the case of Windows devices, just through one of our quick fix or quick buttons available just above the device grid. This obviously is really, really helpful. There are many of our partners and customers are finding various ways of using terminal to be able to save them time and to be able to work on devices. We were chatting a little bit earlier, and Armand was saying to me that the benefit of being able to have a look at potentially, or to be able to execute functionality on a device without necessarily clicking on the screen during a remote session is just one of those. And I actually wanted to show you some of these, and we often refer to the knowledge bites, but perhaps worth having a look at some of our blogs at the same time. This specifically refers to Mac and Android devices, but obviously we have Windows and Linux included in the same concept of terminal functionality. But if you have a look, we've listed some specific use cases. The fact that, or at least the possibilities to be able to start and stop services, change settings, troubleshoot, the ability to facilitate file management. And obviously we have certain of these functions already available within our remote window. But as an example, and what I plan to show you is the renaming of a file is not available through a quick action button in our remote support function. And so there are many, I guess, extensions of use cases that this could be applied. The other is to be able to monitor login. We both, I think, have recently seen customers who had a log running as somebody was working through a specific application, and this in various ways and for specific reasons can be really helpful with being able to troubleshoot certain functions, perhaps within a custom developed application. And so, did you want to add anything? Sorry, Arman, not?
I've been trying to hold back a sneeze, but
oh, there we go.
But no, I just want to add the like a digital signage example. Like if you have using devices, tablets, computers, whatnot, that's like digital signage. You don't want the user to see you clicking through or making changes, especially if it's during like peak or busy hours. So it's always beneficial to be able to use these different shell commands in the background and just have whatever change is taking place. Another example is, let's say you're testing a new app on a particular device. Yeah, you'll think you'll show it in a moment, but having the two side by side, being able to watch what happens when you make this click and that click is game changing.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, we've historically, obviously having that separate terminal window was really good, but the ability to be able to run side by side view of the device and this be it SSH shell command, well, terminal or PowerShell in the case of Windows is obviously what we believe, taking it just one step further. I'm going to point you obviously also to the knowledge bytes. There's many functions available, and we'll share these links with you specifically on Windows, as you'll see as I scroll up and down, and then on the previous one being Android and Mac. And I mentioned obviously the fact that that Linux is available. So let's jump quickly into it. In this case, I've got both an Android device and a Windows PC available and online. I'm going to use the standard remote support or the remote feature that we have. And you will notice obviously in the sort of the traditional look of the device down the left-hand side of the screen that's shared. And then what was historically the file explorer, the ability to connect to the clipboard and various other things on the right-hand side, including task manager, and now the terminal window. And in the case of this specific one, and again, I apologize for picking some really simple functions, but I just wanted to show you the logic. I'm going to do a command quickly to create a sample folder in this example. And if I jump back and refresh my my files, there we go. I've been able to create the sample. Obviously, it would have been great to have shown you something within the other side, but it definitely, I just wanted to give you an example of sort of the real type of functions. The same, I have a sample text file in this scenario. I'm going to do quickly a rename of this sample text file. And let's call it sample1.txt. Perfect. And if I jump back to my file explorer view and I quickly refresh, you will see I now have the change of the file name. And again, as I scroll through very quickly, you will see multiple scripts available, both in both if you wanted to use our run script functionality and terminal. Obviously, the benefit, as we've mentioned, being the side-by-side functionality. I'm going to quickly jump onto the Windows device that I have available. I'm not going to spend too much time there, but just to show you essentially that same Windows or that same terminal functionality gives you direct access to PowerShell. And for those of us who worked in Windows for an extended period of time, this obviously is incredibly helpful in terms of being able to run some of the more traditional, let's call it DOS type functions within that environment. So while sorry, this one seems to have taken a little while, but there we go. I have the ability to be able to work directly in this PowerShell terminal window while at the same time viewing exactly what is happening in my environment. So yeah, just to recap, obviously available both traditionally as the terminal window. You will see the name changes to PowerShell if I've clicked on a Windows device, and terminal if I've clicked on an Android, Mac, or Linux device, and then available both through the remote support function on the last tab that you would have seen as part of, I guess, what we know as the little file explorer window. Hope that will be really helpful for as many of you as it has been for some of us in the past. Let me jump onto this quickly. Just a reminder, please. So as Armand already said, we're on our sixth session. We have scheduled dates for the remainder of.
Really quick, Stuart.
Yeah.
There was a question that came in. It's a pretty interesting question.
Sorry. Yeah.
Really quick, I can help answer it for you. But they're asking if it's possible to use Terminal to upload or download files. So I'm guessing like from your PC, on my PC, I open Terminal to a device somewhere out in the world and upload or downloading files from this PC. From my understanding, it is not possible. You still have to use the upload or download function within the file manager, what Stuart is showing right here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I haven't seen any functions, any specific functions to be able to do that. I have traditionally used the upload and download functions that we show, unfortunately grayed out in the scenario, but yeah, the possibility to be able to do it.
Good.
Good.
No,
Anything else? Was that
see if it's possible? I imagine there's some limitation within the way that we are kind of, it's not like a regular USB plugin, like a direct connection to open up Terminal or PowerShell. So probably in the means that we're doing this wirelessly, there might be a limitation. But if there is something we can add to it, I'll make the request, because it does make sense to be able to handle that as well through Terminal.
Yeah, for sure. That would be good. That would be really good. Dates obviously for June now confirmed, and we've added 3 dates during the July period, obviously separated by 2 weeks. A reminder, please, obviously you're going to get those the warning the day before and the direct link within an hour of the meeting. You may need to update your calendar manually for these new dates, but you know, obviously it would be really great to have you with us. And I'm just looking at the little image on the top right-hand side. For those of you who have been attending more regularly, you will probably remember the fact that we are keeping score. We are going to do a wrap at the end of the year for those of you who have attended the most number of our Bits and Bolts sessions. Some of those links quickly, and you've seen obviously some of the screens that I shared earlier directly from our knowledge base, so please feel free to browse onto those. We have a really super community, and if you are not already a member, please join and please share and ask as you need during that or within that environment. The Academy, again, some really good online training, essentially an online university. We have various courses ranging from really entry level right up to our professional level of technical training. And then for those partners who are already registered within our Cosmos portal, and for those who haven't, please feel free to check in again. I know that there are regularly updates, improvements, some shared materials that are updated. I seem to recall in the last week or two there was some new materials that have been made available within the Cosmos portal. So use that as your go-to for all of those partner functions and information that you may need to retrieve. Questions to our partner marketing team, if you need to be able to reach out to Gabby and the rest of the team, please use the partner marketing address. Tech support is obviously available to you via email or those various methods, email, web ticket, intercom button in your Sure MDM consoles, and then direct emails if you have anything to be able to get hold of Aman or myself, obviously displayed at the bottom of the screen. And that's it. Thank you so much again, everybody. I really appreciate it. We appreciate it, and we will see you on the 4th of June for the next session.
Perfect. And I think, sorry, one point I think I skipped over at the very beginning.
Yeah.
If you are using Gmail or some other service other than Outlook, Outlook, I think you keep getting the notifications and it's in your calendar reoccurring. But unfortunately for non-Outlook users, this is a limitation of GoToMeeting. So just be sure to keep that same link. You'll get the notifications for you to join 1 day before and 1 hour before. So we appreciate your continued, sometimes maybe stressful finding the email and joining. We really appreciate you and the fact that you're all here with us today. So thank you all very much and cheers.
Perfect.
June 4th.
Thank you, everybody. Great. Cheers.